Hi everyone, it's Bren here and welcome back to this week's garden update. And before I give you a little tour of my garden, I did just want to say that I want this channel to be a place where you can come to and relax and unwind and escape from our current reality. I am not going to be going on about the coronavirus in every video from here on in. Despite it being a big issue, I want to try and keep this channel a bit more light-hearted and somewhere that you can just switch off. I hope that makes sense to you all. It's just what I feel is the right thing to do. Anyway, having said that, let me show you around. It's Thursday evening. I just sat down here after doing that garden harvest that you can see there on the table. If you'd like to see this harvest, I'll have it up on my TikTok account. It was just a quick one. I grabbed some of these capsicums. We actually had one with our dinner and it was so crunchy and crisp, beautiful. I picked one of these pumpkins which self-seeded. It looks to me like a golden nugget pumpkin. I'm actually going to probably eat this tomorrow, so I didn't bother saving the stalk with it, which is what you usually should do so that you can preserve it for longer, I believe. And then these here are the banana capsicums, yellow banana capsicums. They're so long as well. I might even try a bit of experimenting in the kitchen and see maybe if I can slice it lengthways and maybe stuff it. A few of these little eggplants, and that's pretty much it there for that. We'll leave the basket there for the moment and take a look at this garden bed. I've actually been concentrating a lot this week on clearing out beds to make room for new crops. So I was even thinking I might actually take this plant out, which is a jalapeno chili, and just cut it right back to free up this space here for some winter vegetables, maybe some kale or something. I really want to get started now on getting lots of edibles in the garden. There are quite a few of the jalapenos on this plant, so it might seem a bit odd that I would be cutting it back and taking it out now, but the thing is, the weather has started to cool down now and I don't think I'm going to get much more production off it. So by cutting it back and putting in a pot, I'll be able to overwinter it for next spring. And as I said before, it will just free up a bit more space for other edibles. I've been pretty rootless, to be honest. I have pulled out some plants that are still kind of producing, like these are some cucumber vines. They're actually the Armenian cucumbers. There's this one here. And they did have some little ones on the plant. I've taken a bite of that one, but you know, look at all the space that it takes up. I was thinking I might put some broccoli in here or cauliflower or something else and get it going before the weather cools down too much. The smell in this area is really dominated by this plant over here, which is the lemon verbena. It's grown quite a lot since the rain. And I will come here now and I'll harvest some of the leaves and make some tea. But I have used it in other recipes as part of a vinaigrette. I just use a mortar and pestle, am I saying that right? And I kind of, you know, bruise the leaves and then add some oil and a little bit of vinegar and it's delicious. I've just ducked down because in here there's another cucumber plant, the Boston pickling cucumber. So this one is great for pickling. You might notice that some of them have got a bit too large, and even this one here is kind of wedged into this stand. So yeah, they grow so rapidly in, you know, the growing season. All it takes, like zucchinis, I guess, is a day or so, and it can almost double in size, but this one here is the perfect size to pick for pickling. A lot of self-seeded sunflowers are opening up all around the garden, and I actually think most of them are from the seed mix which I was giving the wild native birds back when we were going through those really tough drought-like conditions. And as well as the sunflowers self-seeding, there's so many corn plants everywhere. There's another big patch here as well. Over this way, a quick update on my New Guinea bean gourd. You may notice in here that this one in particular has grown quite a lot since last week. I am so excited about harvesting it and trying it. Directly across from the New Guinea bean gourd, over here, this is where I had my sweet peas, and now there's some snapdragons. I also had calendula, and these plants here have self-seeded and are starting to flower again. I mean, this area is very weedy. I haven't done much work to it at all, but I have started this week. So past this beautiful sunflower, I've been working a lot on this patch here. You may remember this is where I planted all those strawberry plants, and I didn't really take into consideration this deciduous tree that was growing beside it. So although when I planted all the strawberry plants it was getting full sun, once the leaves came back in that tree, the strawberry plants did not do well at all, and I've only got a couple remaining. I decided this week to go ahead and plant it out, and I put mostly edibles in here. You may see I've got lots of these little spring onions all around the edge of both the levels, as well as some pansies as well. They're really small little plants, you probably don't notice them that much. And I have some sweet peas in here that I've grown in the toilet roll holders, and I'll be popping them in this week into the center section. I might add a few more twigs, and hopefully they'll grow up there and start producing lots of peas for winter. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, but you can see here I have made a start on my winter edibles, and I have to say this year, in light of what's happening around the world, I did go out and buy some punnets of seedlings just to give me that head start. So I've got some broccoli and cauliflower, got lots of kale there, cabbage, broccolini, pak choi, quite a lot of different things. And I will sow seeds as well, but I felt like I needed to give myself a little bit of a head start. And because a lot of my garden beds aren't cleared out, I decided to put a few edibles into containers. So in here you got some bok choy, spring onions and mixed lettuce. I'm still of two minds what to do in here in the raised garden beds. Like you can see in this bed here, I had some tomato plants, and because the weather has cooled down a lot, I actually ended up stripping back a lot of the foliage and just exposing the tomatoes that were left on the plants. So hopefully they will ripen up quicker. There's quite a few tomato plants in here. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for them to ripen, I was going to sow seeds, but again I ended up buying punnets to give myself a head start. So I have some flowers for the bees. These are lobelias all along the front. Then I have some more lettuce, and these are celery along here, a row of them. And then at the back, you can't really see at the moment, they're really tiny, but I have some leeks all around the edge of this bed. It's really hard, like, you know, clearing it out, but I think it just has to be done, really. I mean, as you saw there from the harvest earlier on, I still have quite a lot of capsicums. There's one there, lots of these here. These are the Mad Hatter capsicums, absolutely dripping in them. I might even look at some preserving recipes, because there's just way too many on here on this plant just to eat at once. Everything is a real mess at the moment. But you know, I do all of this myself, so I have to just kind of try and ignore all of this what's going on here and just focus on getting the beds clear. So I did have some in this bed. I had some basil. I took those plants out. I still have the Thai pink egg tomatoes. Something has been coming in and eating them, probably mice or possums, I'm not sure. And I'm going to just start and plant out these 2 garden beds, probably with some brassicas. It's good to see all the oranges developing on the tree. I'll have a big crop of them that will last from late winter till early spring. And underneath the orange tree, as well as having all the nasturtiums, I do have a new addition to the garden, which is this bird feeder. I'm not quite sure if I'll leave it in this area because I don't know if I want to encourage the birds to come, you know, under the orange tree. I'll be nervous they take the oranges off. But isn't this so cute? My friend gave it to me. She saw it in a local shop and she thought that I'd like it. And I do. I love that it's a giant egg. Over here on this archway, I did my first harvest of beans this week. You can see one there. I can't actually remember the variety. Someone said it looks like a French bean. I don't know, what you reckon? I guess it kind of does. And you can see them there all dangling over the top. I find this area really peaceful. It just calms you down standing here looking at all the pretty flowers. This is my go-to salvia plant. It's called hot lip salvia. And behind them I have a whole load of the orange Bright Lights Cosmos. You might remember I sprinkled all of these seeds here just before we were meant to get some rain in the hope that we would. And we did, and now they are just thriving. Along with all the weeds, but I'm going to ignore them and look up a bit higher at these. Lots of the amaranth love lice bleeding, some corn plants, and in there are a few other flowers like zinnias. Oh, I just spotted a little bee. And then of course you might remember the row of zinnias, the lily-put zinnias that I planted in here in front of all of the bellotti beans, I believe. They're all doing really well. I've yet to harvest from them, but they're all in there. Still harvesting quite a lot from the summer squash, but you can see by the powdery mildew it won't be long before these plants give up. But there is a little garden friend in there. I spotted one last week as well. It's a fungus eating ladybug and it will go and eat all the spores off this plant. I probably should do another harvest in here. I really need to pick them before they get too big. Like, oh my goodness, look at the size of that one. Oh, it got a bit out of control. I only harvested off this plant the other day, and this one, a couple of days and it's got to this size. Thanks so much for watching till the end. I have some good news to share. Tomorrow, which is Saturday, hopefully with all things going well, we're going to get 2 new additions to the garden. They will be 2 little chickens and I'll be able to show you them next week. Also on the channel, I'm going to post some of my TikTok videos up here as well, just to give you a bit more content. And I know I had mentioned a long time ago I was gonna try and do 2 videos a week. I'm still kind of working on that. I'm just trying to find the time, but probably will have a lot more time now over the next few weeks and months. Anyway, I hope you all stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all again next Friday.